friends, welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot minute since the last video, but I am excited for this speed build today since we will be using Cinderella's castle and some of the new premium shop items that we got with the Winter Ball update. Now, Cinderella is one of my favorite Disney movies and character, and I already knew that I would be giving her castle a grand and royal courtyard in one of my floating islands. So, today we are up in the forest floating island, creating what feels like a scene of the original 1950 movie. I was really inspired by whatever stills we do see of the castle in this movie, and I definitely leaned towards using light effects to give that aesthetic nighttime glow. If you would like to see how this turned out, let's keep on watching. I have Cinderella's castle centered in the floating island towards the back, and we will actually be combining her house with the new charming castle wall kit that is in the premium shop currently in order to extend her castle and make it appear larger. I'm being really experimental here, just trying to see what pieces I can place down to add to her castle. We continue to build it back, and for the very back row I will also be using the Midnight Garden gazebo, which I do use frequently in this build, but I put these ones in the back to break some of that repetitive structure of the spires. At the front, we begin our first lighting effect, and this usually will look normal in the day, but it really transforms the area and evening, especially at night. I place some of these Vitalis mine lamps and layer it with these Mythopia cypress trees. For the back, I know in the original movie there isn't really trees behind the castle, but this is my added twist after all, so of course we'll be filling in the space with some large trees. I used the large white blossom trees from Wish Blossom Ranch, as well as the winter holiday trees, not to confuse the two, because this one was part of a premium shop bundle. They're similar in color, but they do have some differences, and I liked keeping the color scheme of light blues and white. Now in the middle, you may notice some Disney park entrances, and this is actually my way of aligning things for when I want to make a huge symmetrical build. I want to add the gazebos on either side of the island, and in order to do that, I needed to be perfectly symmetrical. So I pushed some Disney park entrances as far left and right as possible before lining up my gazebos in their position. Once I have the gazebos in the right position on both sides, I just take the entry pieces out, and then you should have two symmetrical gazebos on either side. Now I made this water piece with the gazebo, so all you need to do is just pause and try to copy what I just did here. And I'm just kidding, I will show you how I made it on the other side. My inspiration for these areas came from the movie, particularly when Cinderella and the prince escape the ballroom and go off on their own adventure in the castle as they dance. They do pass by a lot of beautiful water areas, and so I think of this place as somewhere that they would run off to in the middle of the ball, if that makes sense. To make the water surrounding the gazebo, I started with the larger pieces, forming the shape with the medium ones and leaving a gap in the front to walk inside. Then I finished detailing the shape with the smallest water pieces. Around the water and in those corners, I layer some more Mythopia cypress trees, and on each of the four corners, more of the charming wall kit pieces. Now I used the elegant stone fence from Storybook Vale, which historically, if you know, it is a rare item to get, so if you don't have it yet then no worries, the marble fencing will work just fine. I also add these Storybook Vale marble pillars on some more corners and fill in the back with some more of those trees and some lights. Now to make the area really pop, we will be putting some more Vitalis mine lamps in some of those corners. Do keep in mind that I believe the Vitalis mine lamps only function this way on floating islands. I don't think they actually have this pop of light in the main valley, which is why I like to use them more for floating island builds like this one. In the movie, the castle almost looked like it was glowing, so I wanted to recreate that effect. To do this, you will need to craft some blue lights and stick them inside of the castle pieces. I used the lamp post with blue light to get in the tightest of places, and then I put some normal wrought iron lights inside. Now we are making a centerpiece, and this is where I got the most inspiration from the movie, since there is this large lake in front of the castle. However, rather than just putting water, I wanted to make an illusion of there being fountains in the water, and since you can't directly put any item in the water, we will have to get creative with building our water structure. Without worrying about how it looks at first, I go down the line and I fit in these regal fountains, using some smaller pieces to fit it in as best as possible. In the very middle, I also leave a small gap for these fountains from the rock show star path. You need to make a simple water rug using Touch and Magic, which is just a marble texture in blue colors with the glossiness set all the way up. I have tutorials all over my channel if you are confused. Using the water rugs, it will help blend in the river kit and the gaps we made to fit the objects in, creating the illusion that there are objects on top of the water. It's an old trick in the playbook, but I use it all the time because I really wish we can put more items on top of the water. This part was a direct inspiration from the movie. I noticed these tiny hedges that lined the water. The closest thing to it were these hedges from the Glamour Gulch, so I lined it down both sides. Now for the pathing situation, I combined the brick road and Dazzle Beach stone path, alternating between both in lines. I also continue that pattern slightly down the water, and I extended to the sides leading into the gazebos. We're moving on to the next area, which is the left and right sides of the castle, and we are simply making another water centerpiece since this place is basically just one big fancy courtyard. I am using these beautiful pumpkin topiaries also in the premium shop, and this time I will be using the marble fences. Once again, fill in the area with water and cover the gaps with a water rug. Behind, we will frame with some more trees that we have already been using, and then putting down another gazebo. Behind the gazebo, I layer some blue lights, placing it so that it is almost invisible in the day, but it glows at night. Like with the other water areas, we layer with some marble pillars and cypress trees, and I even added these rose decorations from Cogsworth's Friendship Quests. For the finishing touch, of course, we will be placing some more Vitalis mine lamps for that pop of light. I was left with a gap, so what ends up happening is that we have room for these kind of little decorative hallways, so I built the hallway with the castle walls, extending the pathing inside of it. On this one, I put a piano and some benches with the other Cinderella lights. Since this is a symmetrical build, you're going to repeat the water piece and the hallway on the right side as well, making sure that you mirror it. Moving on, now we're at the bottom of the island, and this is just some more filler areas. Here while I was building, I was kind of imagining the montage where Cinderella and the prince are dancing around the outside of the castle, and they pass by these cypress trees and they go into these tiny romantic spaces, so that's kind of the vibe here. Once again, it's symmetrical, so I already did this one side and I will be showing you how to do it on the other side. I put the gazebo at the very corner with some blue lights behind it, using the corner wall pieces and having it point outwards in a row for a cool effect. I used these hedge squares, which are a base game item, and I loop these Cinderella lights all around, rotating each piece so that it almost makes a full circle around the hedges. I surround the circle with alternating cypress trees, also adding some on the other side, creating a sort of curved path with the trees. I added the pathing to connect with the center, angling it so that it leads to that area, and I have it fan out at the base where it connects. Decorating these areas are a bit minimal, so I use more Vitalis mine lamps and cypress trees for a cool effect. On the left side, I have a carriage, while the right side has another pumpkin topiary with the well, which by the way, this well skin works really well with this build, so I'm really glad to have it. The back was looking a bit empty, so all I did was use some of those charming arch wall pieces, lights, and these tiny fountains. To make it more interesting, I punch out some holes in the path and I fill them in with the brick road pathing, which will add some more visual interest. I also tweak some of the pathing we already did, extending that pattern throughout. I'm just tweaking the water areas here, so in this space I thought some simple benches would do. So I put 2 benches down in the middle of the grassy patch, and I actually used more of those Cinderella lights, but it was kind of clashing with the one I already had at the center. To fix this, I just replaced the arch leading to the gazebos with this floral one, which I believe came from Lumiere or Cogsworth, but don't quote me on it. I'm just doing some final tweaks with the trees, adding a few more details, and in the water areas I will also just add some water lilies and swan boats, and then you will be done. I hope you guys liked the build. This was a lot of fun to do considering that I absolutely love the Cinderella movie, so I tried my hardest to make it feel like you were in the movie at the ball. I actually love how it looks in the day and the evening, but nothing beats a night stroll around this floating island. If you liked the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye!